Okay, so I get so many DMs and emails asking how do I stay motivated all of the time? And people just assume that I'm always motivated, that I never procrastinate, that every day I'm 100% productive and running at 100% efficiency. But unfortunately, that's just not entirely true. Although I would say I'm more motivated and more productive than the average person, I still have days that I don't feel as motivated. So on those days, the days that I feel a bit tired and uninspired, what do I do to pick myself up and push through the day? I'm going to go through a few steps that I personally take, and this has happened on more than a few occasions where I start the day feeling unmotivated, but after taking these steps, I actually end the day having got so much of my work done. Set realistic, achievable goals. Okay, to start with, let's consider the expression "is easier said than done," which actually applies to pretty much everything if you think about it. And when it comes to setting up goals, particularly from the approach of maximizing productivity, this expression is no exception. It's easy to say, I'll do this, or I'll do that, I'll study for 12 hours a day every day for the next week, or read for 2 hours every day. In the world of productivity and motivation, talk is cheap, really cheap. Actions speak louder than words, and what you often find when you set really high goals is you run a risk of not reaching them, which sets a foundation of feeling unfulfilled, dissatisfied, maybe even like you're failing. But the reality is you've lightly set yourself up for failure. So to avoid this, I set realistic and achievable goals, especially in the beginning. As you'll see throughout this video, being more productive is not an overnight achievement. It takes time and constant awareness. So when I'm feeling unmotivated, I set some goals that make me think this is easy and go out and smash those goals. And then I get the victory and celebrate it, and then I'll set the goals for the next day even harder. I will build up the intensity of my productivity over time rather than tasking myself with the impossible. So set realistic and achievable goals, know your limits, challenge yourself, but don't overwhelm yourself. Be flexible. Don't plan every second of the day, have some flexibility. So you could set yourself up some very easy, achievable tasks, but you encounter another issue. You've made yourself busy every second of the days, and some may think this is being productive, but if a task overruns and you get delays, say something comes up like you have to pop to the supermarket or you need to get a haircut, then you find that not having some flexibility in your schedule to account for these daily distractions, then it's actually counterproductive, because now you're not able to complete everything on your task list. You're trying to catch up and make up for lost time, and really what you've done is set achievable goals but in an unachievable timescale. And I had this problem when I was living in Amsterdam. I would have a daily routine, but every hour would be planned out. As soon as I'd wake up, I'd do some yoga, meditation, learn a language for 30 minutes. Then by 10 AM, I'd be studying, and every single hour would be planned out. And it was just far too hectic and difficult to maintain. So after a few weeks, I ended up really simplifying my routine so it's far more flexible. And I go into more detail on what my routine is like in the Transform Your Grades in 30 Days course, where I also give you personal mentoring and guidance, as well as one-on-one coaching calls to help you push your studying and your grades to the next level. There's a link in the description down below if you're interested. So let's say you have a full day at university, but you have a 1 hour lunch break, and you decide to put some study time in that 1 hour lunch break. The problems you may find is delayed transport getting to and from university, a class may overrun giving you less time on your 1 hour break, you may spend longer in the gym than planned giving you less time to study. There's so many things that can mess up your routine, so you need to be flexible, or rather your routine needs to be flexible. Factor in that things will sometimes take longer than expected, or naturally things will happen in the day, which means you have less time than you originally thought. Knowing you accounted for this by having a free hour or two in your calendar in your day will keep the pressure off and make sure you can tick everything off your list. Do the least enjoyable task first. There are always tasks that we don't particularly like doing, like maybe writing an essay for our least favourite subject. There's no getting around it. It has to be done, but we can at least make sure it doesn't impact us any further by taking longer than it should and giving us less time on the task we enjoy a little bit more. And the best way to do this, in my opinion, is to get these tasks done in the morning, because mornings are when I'm the most productive. I've had a long sleep, I've been to the gym, and I'm highly motivated to get started, and this is a great time to get the boring, non-enjoyable tasks out of the way. And trust me, once you've boxed the enjoyable tasks off early on, and if you've managed to do them on time, because you can go on for the rest of the day knowing you have the least favourable stuff out of the way and ticked off, and now you're on to the more enjoyable stuff. For me, getting the boring stuff out of the way first is the better way of doing things, as if you do it the other way around, you'll be spending the day with the least enjoyable tasks hanging over your head, and as the day progresses and you're not as energetic or motivated, you may find it easier to procrastinate and do the tasks another time, leading to a less productive day. It's also another reason why I go to the gym in the morning, so I don't have to think about it again until the next day. If I went to the gym in the afternoon or the evening, I'd be thinking about it most of the day, and I might even be tempted to not go. Reward yourself. It's important that if you're feeling unmotivated and you're struggling to get any work done, then you set yourself a reward that will help inspire you. You can think of it almost like a mini celebration for having a productive and successful day, and it helps positively associate your hard work with reward. And according to a 2018 study by Cornell researchers Caitlin Woolley and Ayelet Fishbach, published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, they found that people who receive immediate, frequent rewards for compelling small tasks reported more interest and more enjoyment in their work, compared with people who received delayed rewards only given out at the end of a long project. It could also be a good idea to create a reward system, and this would involve different levels of rewards. Your reward system should be progressive, so rewarding yourself in proportion to the task you're completing. The tougher the task, the bigger the reward. So for example, if your biggest goal was to graduate with a 4.0 GPA, which was mine at university, then you would match an equally big reward with that goal. But in order to achieve it, you might put in place a set of smaller goals, such as studying for 8 hours a day, not watching Netflix before 9 PM, and not using social media until 2 PM. And for these smaller goals, if you achieve them all every day, by the end of the week you could award yourself with bigger rewards, such as allowing yourself to binge watch Netflix all afternoon and night on a Sunday. Of course, your awards should be specific to you and your own needs and wants. Reminders. Now, when you first start studying at the beginning of the semester, you might find you're highly motivated and in turn highly productive. But as days turn into weeks and weeks turn into months, as you know, everybody's lives are different and different things can happen. At some point, you're likely to start getting pulled away from your goals, and that in turn impacts your productivity as you're becoming more disconnected from your why. This is a great way to remember why you're putting in your hard work and why it's important to stay focused. So this can be things like having a picture on your phone for a location you want to travel to once you've passed your degree, or maybe it's a car you want to buy when you land your dream job. Or maybe instead of a picture, you watch YouTube videos of places you want to travel to, or cars you want to drive, or homes you want to own. Or maybe it might be thinking towards the day you graduate, or when you get your first job offer, or you make your first business deal. Make time in your diary to remind yourself of your goals, and this will help you to keep your eye on the prize and validate all the hard work you're putting in to make them happen. Get some quick wins early on. Get the ball rolling each morning with some quick wins. Have tasks that are easily achievable. Maybe it's a quick body weight workout, or maybe a skincare routine. Maybe it's meditation or yoga or preparing your food for the day. Anything that gets you moving and ticking something off your list as soon as possible at the start of the day, and just getting the ball rolling. It feels great to tick an item off your list, and you'll often feel a small serotonin buzz in your brain as you feel you're off to a great start. Make your first tasks easy and quick, tick them off for a quick win, and start your day off positively. Use productivity apps. So our phones can be incredibly destructive when it comes to getting distracted and getting things done. But at the same time, they can be one of the most useful tools for productivity. It all depends on how you use it. My phone basically organizes my life. It notifies me of important dates, any appointments or meetings I have that day, and tasks that I have to get done. And I set up my phone to be as optimized and encourage me to be as creative as possible. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail about what apps I use, as I've already covered the main apps in a video I made recently. You can click on the pop-out banner above to watch it. Practice self-care. I want you to have full productive days, and yes, sometimes sacrifice is needed. Sometimes that's less sleep, maybe not doing something you enjoy for a day or two, but never go as far to the point where you're neglecting your self-care, as this can lead to burnout or even worse, feelings of anxiety. Take time out each day to look after yourself. If you look after yourself, you're in a better position to tackle your daily tasks. And this means your physical and mental health, so exercising, socializing, taking adequate breaks, eating healthily, getting enough sleep, all of these things are absolutely essential for long-term performance. Reflect. Spend a few minutes at the end of each day to reflect on the days just gone. Did you get everything done? What did you find hard? What needed more time? If things haven't gone to plan, or even if they have gone to plan, it's important to understand why, so we can try not to repeat any behaviors or situations that prevented us from reaching our goal. Maybe you've realized that you're not getting anything done at home, so maybe it's best to stay longer in the library to study. Maybe you reflected on the fact that missing lunch to study made you a little irritable, or maybe you missed too many classes at university. Maybe your day went great and that was because of the awesome workout you had at the start of the day, or because you took some time to chat with friends the night before, leading you to feeling refreshed the next day and ready to go. Reflection is important. We need to know what works and what doesn't work and why. Eliminate distractions. So this one sounds obvious, but a part of your self-reflection, you may realize that there are distractions you may be able to eliminate. And this is not easy. It takes being honest with yourself, where perhaps you're allowing yourself or others to take your attention away from your hard work, and that will ultimately lead to achieving your goals. Sometimes you need to be hard on yourself and make tough decisions, such as turning off your phone, telling friends at university that you're taking a social media detox. Maybe you realize that you're spending too much time on your phone or browsing through social media. Maybe you're playing video games too much or not getting enough sleep. To eliminate distractions is to be honest with yourself about what's going wrong and why, and more often than not, it involves some kind of sacrifice on your part to no longer let them happen. Forgive yourself. Feeling unmotivated every now and again is completely normal. It happens to the best of us, even happens to me. And I even have days when nothing goes my way and I don't even tick off the simplest tasks on my to-do list. But this is a forever part of life, and not only must we expect it to happen, but we must also forgive ourselves if we are to stand a chance of having a better day tomorrow. There is no benefit in living in despair or anger towards yourself. Just remember to reflect, eliminate distractions, but ultimately forgive yourself and move on, because tomorrow is a new day. Surround yourself with productive people. An important but simple way to stay productive is by surrounding yourself with productive and like-minded people. And in a way, this is a reversal of eliminating distractions and encouraging motivators, people who help you stay focused and motivated. Because being around productive people often has a knock-on effect, and it makes you productive and motivated. It can help you keep on track, and more often than not, you're stronger when you work together. And if you're struggling with being unmotivated just every now and then that's completely normal. However, if you're struggling with motivation long term that lasts for weeks or even months, then there may be bigger issues to tackle. I recently made a video on how I make my 24 hours super productive. You can click on the video on the screen to watch it. And again, if you need one-on-one coaching and guidance and support from me, you can click on the link in the description for the Transform Your Grades in 30 Days course. And if you do, I look forward to working alongside you very shortly.